Welcome to our channel. This is part 3 of the EV charging, basically understanding how to charge your EV. So we're going to carry on, and now we are going to be looking at, is it cheaper to charge your EV at night or in the day? And so, as we've talked about before, the Nissan Ariya is one of the top EVs, especially this copper black one. Is a great vehicle. I mean, they're not cheap. They're not cheap. So you're looking at anything from 40,000 upwards, right? We go up here and you can see the interior there. Great vehicle. It says transformation on the horizon. Ariya is the stunning expression of Nissan's vision. A single horizon line replaces fuzzy contours. The thin LED headlamp shines at night, then disappears during the day. Inside, a flat floor adds a spacious lounge-like feeling that welcomes all. So this car is indeed great. Fantastic interior, as you can see. Very futuristic, very comfortable, and it's smooth. So you can see it there. That's a great electric vehicle. The Teslas are also great on their batteries and stuff and their technology, but I find that for comfort and maneuverability, the Nissan Ariya really tops it. But if you want to go to the very high end, then you see all these Porsches, but this gets a little bit more than what the ordinary person can afford. But as we know, TfL, Mayor of London, he wants everything to go electric. Obviously, all the private hire fleet, the new ones coming in, must be all electric. And the Mayor of London is basically set London as a net zero city to basically the target year is 2030. So you can see here what the Mayor of London is saying. The Mayor of London has several policies to support the use of electric vehicles, EVs, to private hire vehicles, including congestion charge discount. Pure electric vehicles qualify for 100% discount on the congestion charge until December 2025. After that, the discount will end and the charge of £10 will apply. So this a concession that the Mayor of London gave to electric vehicles will come to an end a year from now. And all electric vehicle owners will now have to pay a £10 charge. Why? I do not understand. Let your objections be known if you have one. Zero emissions capable vehicles. All new PHVs licensed in 2023 must be zero emission capable. So you can see there. Charging infrastructure. London has over 11,000 places to charge at an EV, including 820 fast or ultra rapid charges. So these are kind of statements that may seem very encouraging, but in reality, in practice, if you go out there looking for a place to charge your vehicle, you will find that you are very limited. And so if you have 820 fast charges and you want to change the entire fleet of private hire vehicles, which could be anything between say 5 to, oh, is it? No, I shouldn't even say. I mean, this could be anything. I'll probably say between 10 to 20,000 vehicles, and you give them 820 fast charges or fast charging points in London, then in effect, that could be a drop in the ocean. So ULEZ emission standards, PHVs must meet ULEZ emission standards or pay a £12.50 daily charge when traveling in the ultra low emission zone, ULZZ. And then the net zero promise. Then he also talks about other benefits of EVs include fuel cost savings. This, once again, based on the cost of the charging, especially the rapid charge or superchargers. These things sometimes may cost even more than normal petrol or diesel cars, because when you charge them, you are very limited. It does not go as far as the standard petrol and diesel cars. In reality, in my opinion, we are ready for self-charging hybrids, but full electrics need a lot of work to be done before we indeed get there. So we carry on in this part 3. Part 3. So we look at that article that is really giving us all the information that we need. I think we go over this. We go over this again. So is it cheaper to charge an electric car at home? Yes, it is significantly cheaper to charge an EV at home compared to using a public charger, unless, of course, you find a free charger, which is sometimes the case at hotels. For example, a high-speed public charger can cost as much as 79p or even 89p per kilowatt hour. This is Shell. They charge thereabout between 83 and 89 pounds per kilowatt hour. So if you do about a 60 kilowatt charge, you may end up with a bill between, say, 50 to 55 pounds. Even a slow speed lamp-post charger can still cost between 39 and 59p per kilowatt hour. Compare this to the E.ON Next Drive EV tariff, which costs from just 6.7 pence per kilowatt hour. So this is when it really becomes more practical if you're doing this at home. And obviously, to have a drive is not for the basically it's not for the ordinary person. So it works better and cheaper for the wealthy. And obviously, the poor guy will always get the stick. That's over 5 times cheaper than the lamppost charger, and at 7.4 kilowatts, it's most powerful than the lamppost too, since they often operate at 5 kilowatts. So the lampposts, they are charging a lot of money, but it's not also charging faster. Okay, so all these things you need to know before you commit. Is it cheaper to charge to charge an EV at night? Yes, it is often cheaper to charge EV or an EV at night because that is when electricity is usually available at a low price per kilowatt hour. For example, a lamppost charger we frequently use in South London costs 59p per kilowatt hour during the day, but 39p per kilowatt hour between the hours of midnight and 7 a.m. This is also true for homes charging with E.ON Next Drive, dropping to its cheapest rate of 6.7 pence per kilowatt hour, also between the hours of 12 a.m. and 7 p.m. Even EVs have a scheduling system which you can program the car to only charge at a certain time of the day or night. That way, you can plug it into the charger during the day, but set the car so that it only start filling its battery at midnight when electricity is cheaper. Oops, sorry. Went a little bit too fast. Let's go back. Good. So I think our next question is, can I charge an electric car with a solar panel? Yes, you can. Broadly speaking, there are 2 approaches here. One is to have solar panel that feeds energy direct into your home so that they will contribute to your EV. If it's plugged into the charger during the day. The other approach is to add a battery to your home, which is charged up by the solar panel, then store energy until you need it, such as when charging your EV overnight. Since you generate the electricity yourself using the solar panel, this power is effectively free. And so these are all great ideas. Once again, not for the ordinary guy. How do I pay to use a public EV charger? So this is another issue. So you go there, you see the charger, you want to charge it. It's not allowing you to charge, or it's not allowing you to pay. So I've had that experience at Shell when I've been there. The first time I was able to use my card, subsequently when I've been there, it will not charge. Why? Because I probably don't have the Shell app, so it's not going to allow me to charge. So you're going to have that problem as well. And if you start downloading these apps, when do you stop and how many of them do you need? This is another question. So even paying for it is also not a straightforward thing. But in my opinion, that there should be a standard, that they should all have the same standard, to allow you to pay with your card, to allow you to download an app. This should just be a choice. And even the subscription, there should, one should not be forced to subscribe so that they get a cheaper rate. That should all be banned. They should all just be allowed to either tap your card or download an app and just use it so that prices are all standardized for all. So, how do I pay to use public EV chargers? This used to be a minefield, with each EV charging company using a different phone app or even requiring the user or use of a different RFID tag or contactless membership card. These methods should exist in some cases, but it's now possible to pay using a credit or debit card at most public charges. Those that don't accept payment, don't accept card payment, such as lamppost charges, use an app which then accepts payments from a credit card. Or you can often use Apple Pay or other such services too. Often there are QR codes on the charge which can then scan, which when scanned takes you to a website where you can start the charge process and make a payment. We've also heard stories where these QR codes are placed in these lampposts, and these are probably done by some criminals, such that when you scan the QR codes, they get into your bank account and basically skim money from your account. So that we've also heard. So all these things needs to be taken into consideration. Can you charge an electric car from a 3-pin plug socket? Electric car manufacturers make cables for plugging their cars directly into a domestic socket. However, while this can be helpful in an emergency or when you just need a few extra miles of energy during an overnight stop, the charge rate is very, very slow. Okay. The car will only charge at around 1 or 2 kilowatts, which is 5 times slower than a home wall box style charger and more than 100 times slower than what many electric cars are capable of. This can mean adding just a handful of miles of range per hour, and a full charge can take well over 24 hours. It isn't a practical solution for most drivers, but it's handy if you are visiting friends or family or you don't have a charger. Plug in all night after they offer to buy them breakfast, and you will have at least add a dozen or so miles of range. We should also state that car manufacturers warn against using extension cables to charge an EV. So no extension cables. Oops, sorry. Right. The Next thing here, do electric cars charge themselves while you drive? In a way, yes. Electric cars have a system called regenerative braking, where the motor is used as a generator when coasting or braking. This slows the car just as engine braking does in non-electric vehicles, but has the added benefit of creating energy, which is then harvested and fed back into the battery. Especially with regenerative braking switch on, the more the driver lifts the accelerator, the more their EV slows down and the more energy heads back into the battery. It is satisfying to accept it is satisfying aspect to EV driving and means the friction brakes using traditional discs and pads are rarely used, so lasts longer than normal. However, compared to plugging into a charger, only a small amount of electricity is generated by regenerative braking. If you coast downhill for a long time, you might see the range indicator increase by a single mile, but that it's better than nothing. Okay. How do you find the nearest electric car charger? The navigation system of an EV is a good place to start, as many will route you via a charge station if a top up is needed to reach your destination. Tesla is by far the best at this, as it produces an accurate, reliable, detailed breakdown of where to stop, how long to charge for, and how much charge you need. You have when you reach your destination. Smartphone based systems like Google Maps and Apple Maps aren't as good as this, primarily because apps running through App CarPlay or Android Auto has no access to your car's charge state or efficiency, so don't know when you should stop for a battery top up. They can still be used to navigate to a charge station, and they often show how many charges each station has, along with the type and maximum speed of each charger. But you will have to estimate where best to stop based on your own understanding of the car's range and efficiency. One of the best EV charge station maps is called Zap Map. This app shows charger locations and speed, plus there is a feedback system which users can report problems with faulty chargers or leave note explaining precisely where chargers are located, since they are sometimes installed at the far side of service stations car park. And so this whole EV system, great for the environment, but does have a whole lot of challenges. I think the biggest challenge is when you're probably wanting to travel far, basically going up from, say, maybe from the south, say Portsmouth to Birmingham, or Portsmouth to Manchester, or London to Edinburgh. This is when you start to see the real challenge, in the sense that if a vehicle gives you anything between 250 and 311 miles on the range, you know that you are not going to go far, and you always have to stop somewhere, spend an hour and a half or more just to charge and to carry on with your journey. And so this is the end of the videos on electric vehicles. If you have one, if you're new to EVs, if you're thinking of buying EVs, if you are an experienced EV user, here is the platform to share your views, raise your objections, and add your contributions for others to also learn about this EV charging. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Share this video. Until next time, thank you. Goodbye.